this session.
Oh.
Okay, everybody. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started, but first I'll briefly introduce myself. My name is Cassie Zhang Arver. Cassie. I'm a, huh?
Did you say Kathy?
Cassie.
Oh, Kasky.
No, Cassie. Cassie. It's spelled, yeah, C-A-S-S-I-E.
Oh, Cassie.
Cassie.
Oh, you said Kathy.
Oh no, maybe I should start spelling my name out because most people hear Kathy,
Yeah.
but it's Cassie.
Cassie.
Okay. Well, my name's Cassie. I'm a local watercolor painter and instructor. I work mostly with retirement communities, and I work with several around the Bay Area. I used to teach kids art in all types of forms, and now I've switched over to working with older adults. And
We're kids at heart.
huh?
We're kids at heart.
Oh yeah, we all are. Yeah, I like to tell everyone these classes are all about having fun and playing around with paint, and it's not about necessarily making the perfect painting. It's really about enjoying the painting experience and learning and being in the moment and going with the flow, like literally with the water. And so the things I usually focus on in my classes are nature-inspired pieces, so it's usually flowers, landscapes, and other types of plants. Today we're going to be painting sunflowers, as you might have noticed from the printout I passed out earlier. And what I'm going to do is first walk us through a warm-up, so we'll just do some exercises to get familiar with the supplies and experiment. This is the warm-up exercise here. And after we finish this, we'll use the larger sheet of paper to make a full painting. So first we'll start with this small sheet. It's not this one, it's this smaller one.
We should put the sheet on the smooth side or the rough side?
Great question. I would use the rough side. This is the textured side. You can actually choose whichever you like. If you use the rough side, you'll see that texture on your painting. If you prefer it to be smooth without that texture of the paper, then you can try the smooth side. My paper, actually, the one I brought, is rough on both sides.
Yeah, it is.
So I think some of them vary, even though it's the same brand for some reason. Some of them are smoother. But I like to use the rough side for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and work with that. You're welcome to experiment with the other side. And we'll be using the small one. And this here I want to explain is for reference. So if you like to use this for inspiration and try to copy either the colors or the shapes from here, you can. Sometimes I find it's really helpful to have some photos or other sources of information other than just what the teacher is doing to give you some ideas and some variety. Because you'll notice some of these have different colors and shapes and whatnot. So you can keep looking at this if you like to for yourself. So everyone should have this palette, a cup of water, paper towel, and two brushes, one that's large and one that's small. Everyone's got it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So to get started, we're going to use the smaller of the two brushes for this smaller sheet of paper.
Yes.
And what we're going to do, which you can watch first, I'll let you know when to try it yourself. I'm going to collect some of the color that I want to use for the center of my flower. On this palette, you'll notice you'll have a lot of different options. Let me turn it this way. You have some browns right here, and then some that are almost like brown. They're like an orangey, more of an orangey reddish color. You can experiment with any of these browns here. I'm going to use this one because I want somewhat of a lighter brown. This one's darker. So on this bottom corner on the other side of this black, I'm going to add some water to it to pick up some pigment. And then just put it in one of these wells here. So you can go ahead and try that yourself.
With water and then.
Yeah, first step is pick up some water from the water cup with your brush. Now this is loaded with water. I don't know if you can really see this here. It's very shiny and plump.
Okay, so then you get some brown.
Then you pick up some brown here, and I'm going back and forth on this color here to pick up a lot of the pigment. And then I like to put it in here so I know what it looks like in one of these wells. And now I have this puddle here.
Oh, like these empty wells.
Yeah, these empty wells are for mixing paint. Let me try turning it this way. And right now I'm making my own well of brown.
You're gonna put it in here, a well.
Okay.
Yeah, choose any one of the wells. And you want to make sure you add enough water to where it looks like it's kind of like a dark tea or even a melted ice cream consistency. And I've used quite a bit of water here. I've put my brush inside my water cup a couple of times already just to make this much paint.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of looks like chocolate milk.
Yep.
So one of the things you should know about watercolor is that it's considered one of the hardest painting mediums to learn, but it's also one of the most accessible, where the supplies are very simple to set up and use, and it's non-toxic. Unlike oil paints, you have to use solvents to work with those, so this is very convenient, although learning how to master the use of the water with the paints can be really difficult. So if it goes crazy on your first try, don't worry. You'll learn to adjust the amount of water or pigment that you need as you keep trying things out and experimenting. So with this little puddle that we made, we're going to go ahead and try making our first circle.
Circle.
Yeah, we're practicing how to paint the center of the sunflowers so that when we make our painting, we can make these shapes. So first, just these circles like I have in this example here. So I'll demonstrate this part first, and then you can try it yourself. I'm going to make these circles only in the top half of the paper so we have enough room to practice the petals too. So with the top half, I'm going to pick up this paint and paint a circle about this big. And I'd like you to pay attention to how much water there is on here, as in how watery it is. It should have this shine to it. If it doesn't, that means it's probably too dry and you won't be able to make the blend that I'm about to do. So make sure yours is plenty watery, and go ahead and try making this circle. It is true though that you can have too much water, in which case I can show you how to remove it if you have too much. For example, this is a little bit too much for my taste where it's puddling on one side. If you end up having too much water like I do, don't worry, I'll show you how to remove it. And whenever you're done, feel free to, or please look up so I know that you're ready. But for now, take your time and paint your circle. If you have any questions or would like any help, just raise your hand or shout out Cassie.
Yeah, I made a few.
Oh, you're fast.
I think this is big.
What's that? That's a good size, yeah. Okay, I think most people are done. So because this can dry fairly quickly, it won't if you add enough water. But if you have too much water, I just want to show you one trick, or too much paint on here. You have to use something that's like a sponge to remove it. It can be either one, your paper towel, or two, your brush. The towel might be easier, so I'm going to show this one first. I'm just going to take a corner of this and gently dab the area where I want to remove the paint.
Excess water.
Yeah, it'll just soak up the excess water here.
Okay.
And then you can do that until you have an even sheen across the paper. That's more of what we're looking for. Now I don't have any big puddles.
See, I'm just gonna make my own colors.
I like it the way it is.
Oh, you get it.
And for the next step, I want to keep working with this while it's still wet, so I'm going to quickly move on here before it dries. And I'm looking for this even sheen because I want to make a smooth blend. I'll show you what I mean here. So right now I'm cleaning this brush. I like to wipe it on here first and then rinse it in the water. This is clean enough.
Oh, yeah.
And then this step you can just watch first. I'm going to use black, which is on this corner. And I'm putting it here just so I can see how dark it is.
Black.
Yeah, I picked up black here, and then this part I'd like you to watch. So eyes up here. I'm gonna put this black right in the center and making sure this paper is also still wet. You can see how shiny it is. So one dot in the middle, and then I'll trace the inside of this edge here. And I need more paint, so I'm just gonna grab it directly from the palette here. Oops. This almost looks like looks a lot like a pupil.
Looks like a donut. Chocolate
Mine's bleeding.
donut.
Very, like, it looks a little bit burnt too, but I can see the donut.
But once you do it, you don't keep putting it in these little wells.
So that's that for the center of this sunflower here. And as you're doing that, I'll explain the reason why the paper needs to be wet while you apply that. It's so that you can have a smooth blend around the edges and not have hard edges on here. I don't have an example of a hard edge, but you can see how that black is blending into the brown here. That's what we're looking for. Let's see. And what I painted was one possible color combination from here. You can see some of these are actually orange, or kind of like a, what would I call this color? It's like a cinnamon orange color versus just black. So you could try these colors too while you're practicing these. Before I make more, I'm just gonna walk around and see how everyone's doing and if anyone needs help.
I did to read you.
So you do the seeds individual?
Hold on, I lost my shoes. Well, I haven't painted the seeds in my example. We actually could do that later on. If you would like to copy what you see here, you can make little black dots. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's, however you paint this is totally up to you. It's your style. I'm just showing you this one simple way, but if you want to add more details, you're more than welcome to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're making the border around it. But it's not really a perfect circle.
No, it doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
It's actually quite raggedy on the edges.
Yeah, exactly.
Have to over the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Nice. You can do whatever details you like. If you want to try to copy it easy, you can see it's like pretty large in the middle. Yeah.
I'm doing mine in different colors.
Ooh. Oops, sorry.
Different color.
Okay. Everyone's
I
got the
started
shape down.
large and working.
We just got brown so far.
Yeah.
Brown
And
and black.
So I think I got it right for the shape. I
And
just
then,
need to-
okay, so,
Everyone's got the shapes down.
yeah.
There's one more thing I want to show. Let's see. I noticed that everyone's first layer had dried before you put on the black color on top. So for the next one that you practice, I like you to make it more wet and let it stay wet while you add the black on there. You might have to work kind of quickly to make sure it doesn't dry. So if I do another one here, for example, you can see this is still quite wet, but not puddling. And then while it's still wet, I'm going to quickly add this black in there. So it has these soft edges now. Instead of the hard edge, it's blending into itself. So there's a name for this technique. It's called wet on wet. And the reason why it's called wet on wet is because you're applying wet paint to a wet surface. It's what artists use to blend paint. You can't get the smooth edges unless you have the wet with the wet. And that applies to any kind of paint, not just watercolor. Which is why you want to make sure you add the additional color for the blend, smooth blend, while it's still wet before it dries out. That's kind of the tricky part. I'll do a few more to practice myself. And if you want to add seeds too, that's an additional detail you can add. I'm going to try using this reddish color here. Yeah, you'll know if it's too wet if the blends are kind of blending all over the place.
That was my first one, was like that.
Yeah, that will happen. It'll take some fine-tuning and practicing and experimenting to find the balance. But generally, if you want it to be not too watery, you want a pretty flat, even sheen across this surface where it looks like the water is very even across the top of the page. If it's even, then your blends will be even. So even level of water, no puddles. That's what you want for the smoothest blends. So keep trying different things and explore the different shades of or hues of browns and maybe even some of the oranges. See which one you like. And I'll say my palette's quite a mess because I let my kids use it for an afternoon.
We could use that excuse. We let our kids do it.
Yeah.
Our grandkids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There we go.
I took these palettes on a camping trip where there were 6 girls between the ages of like 6 to 13, and they had a good afternoon painting with these sets, so it got a little
Painting
messy.
each other.
We'll spend a few minutes just practicing a few more of these. Does anyone have any questions so far? Any new questions? Okay. Try. Oh, and of course, if you don't want these to blend at all, you can wait for your layer to dry before you add anything on top. Right now, when I add these dots, because it's still wet, it's blending and becoming blurry on the edges. That's interesting. Okay. I'll try an orange.
Now see, this one's the nicest.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And then with the flowers. It's going to be very abstract.
Oops.
Oh, hi.
I see I'm not the only one that's late.
Who else is late?
I don't know, it's seat number.
Well, Barbara's got to do a tour.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome in.
I can't get too much closer. This chairs don't go in.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see how everyone's doing.
I'm just gonna watch. I'm too tired.
Too tired to paint?
Hmm.
No, you can relax and watch their process. It's looking good to me.
This one turned out pretty good.
Oh. Those are the colors.
I'm just gonna do abstract, you know, the,
Abstract art.
Black in the middle.
yeah. I'm just not these colors, so I thought, I'll just do my own.
Perfect. Well, that's what art is all about. Making your
Uh-huh.
own,
Well, it's all in the eye of the beholder.
you're making your own piece.
Because it's
Okay.
the flower.
It's the center of the flower.
Oh.
She's just having us practice.
Yeah, we're practicing the components of the sunflower first as a warm-up.
Okay.
And then we have an additional sheet of paper that's larger for a larger piece.
Oh, okay.
I found that when we start with the warm-up, it really helps everyone like get comfortable and build their confidence.
Yeah, because each circle gets a little better.
Yeah, and there's not so much pressure to make it perfect on your first try.
Yeah.
This is a really good way to practice. Start small with exercises where there's no pressure to get it right. And even on the larger piece, it's all about learning and practicing as well. But I think starting small helps.
They're not as jagged. As they
Okay.
were.
I saw that everyone's got a good amount of practice with this, so the next thing we're going to practice is the petals. And there's a little trick I like to do with these petals specifically. And what that is notice first how this brush is shaped. It's about the same shape as a sunflower petal.
Oh, the big brush are we using or the little still?
We'll keep using the small one. We'll switch to the big one for the bigger paper. Yeah, so because this is the same shape as a petal, we can almost use this like a stamp to stamp the shape of the petal on here. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna pick up a yellow color that I want to use. I would recommend not this one so much. You can try it, but it might be too light to see against the paper or hard to see. So I'm gonna try this one. Mine's a little dirty, but if I if I pick up some of that paint, that darker paint on top, just by adding water, that pretty much cleans it up. I'm gonna make my own well here. Very similar to what we did for the brown when we started with the circles. And for this, all I'm essentially doing is pressing my brush up against the paper. Let me zoom in here. So here I'm gonna see if I can show you this in multiple angles. First, I'm touching the tip here. Oh, let me see if I can get closer. Yeah, okay. I press down on the very tip and then push down. So you see how the bristles are spreading out? That's what makes the wider mark. And because this is kind of hard to see, just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to use a darker color so you can see it better. So tip of the brush and then press down. And I'm holding it in a way where it's at a very low angle. If you were to look at it from the side, it's more like this. It's not this way. It's more this way because I'm using the shape of the brush to make the petal. So I'd like you to go ahead and try that yourself. We'll just make a row of petals like I did in this example across the page. I'll try to keep my other sample up here, for example.
Yeah, these things are.
So tip, very tip, then press down. Very tip, press down, tip, press.
Okay.
And if anyone's got shaky hands or tremors, if you aren't already, I really recommend resting the side of your palm on the paper or on the table. That helps stabilize it. And if that doesn't help enough, I have some weights that might help you keep your paintbrush steady, if anyone would like to try it. Is there anyone who would like to try the weights on the paintbrush to steady their hand?
I would like to.
Yeah? Okay. It makes a heavier
Turn
tool.
weights on your paintbrush if your hands tremor.
Oh. I don't have that yet. No, I'm beginning to, so.
I've got a few of them here.
She said what you can do is put like
So, just to show you what it looks like, this is the weight. It slides in.
Okay.
It can be like if you put it down low enough, it can become a grip as well. So it's like this. And this has some weight to it, so it helps make this more stable. So I'll give you this to try out.
Yeah.
It's like easy and headpiece.
This is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also has an opening here. If you'd like some help, I can.
Is back here better?
It will be heavier if you leave it back there.
Oh,
And
I
on the
see,
bottom,
and it
it's
helps.
more of a grip. Is there anyone else who'd like to try it?
It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're actually the first person in one way
time, but it's starting, so.
Yeah, I did some research to help some of my students, and I do have some who have tremors, but they've refused to use this. It's totally optional,
Well,
but
I
it might be
wish my
helpful.
husband was alive when we had these because he had a tremor that he couldn't take the medication for it.
Oh,
Trying to use utensils, anything, and this would have really helped
That's a
a lot.
big one.
oh, okay.
So,
Well,
Good to know.
these are really easy to get on Amazon.
just, what do you call them, weights?
I actually need to look it up. I forgot what they were
Paint
called.
weights, hand
They were
weights.
called like pen or pencil weights.
Yeah, I would say that.
I can look it up for you later.
Otherwise, you're gonna get wrist weights or.
Uh-huh. These are pretty good. I like
Well, I think those all look like
Uh-huh. Leaves.
leaves, flowers.
Yeah.
They look like,
Petal shapes.
they look like mine.
Yeah.
Have you seen my sunflower that's growing
Now
in
for
the yard?
these petals, you can
Yes,
also
that'd be
experiment
good,
with
yes.
different shades of yellow if you haven't tried other ones. If you'd like to do a more orangey one, or one of these. These are kind of more like mustard yellow, right here. And even a little bit of orange could look nice as well. On my sample painting, I think I used all of the above. So there's some orange, some of the mustard yellow, some brown. So
So
feel free to experiment.
Use the paper to get excess, like when the yellow goes on the brown, just wipe it off.
You could. I wouldn't wipe it necessarily, but I would dab it because if you wipe it, it could.
Yeah, because I didn't like the yellow on the brown.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could dab it wherever you want to remove the color. Another way to do it, which is harder, is with the paintbrush. You would just dry this out and then use the paintbrush to soak it up.
Oh,
You might be able to get more precise with the brush. You just need to make sure that this is clean and dry.
yeah, I noticed the dabbing, it takes away some other colors,
Can you see?
you know, like the brown. Like that brown, I dabbed it. So,
Which one were you trying to remove?
well, I was trying to remove the yellow around here.
With that, you would have to, well, it'd have to be wet first. You could re-wet it and then go back in and dab it
Dab it.
carefully.
Yeah.
One thing to know is, even though you can remove some of the paint, you can't remove 100% because some of it will be soaked into the paper.
Right,
But
right,
you can
right.
remove a lot. Yeah.
Right, right. Like, I don't like this mistake. How do you
These
fix
are
that
good ones.
mistake?
I think you got this.
I think
Yeah,
you
the
got
two
this.
wet yellows.
They're gonna be
Pink
different.
sunflowers.
Were you wanting more shapes?
Yeah.
They're just,
Why not?
You might be able to remove some of it. Do you mind if I try?
that's okay.
Sure.
Let me see what I can do.
Like, I don't know how to fix it.
So, number one, it needs to be wet.
I
Wet.
should make it what I want.
So,
Oh, and then dab it,
yeah,
right?
because you're
Yeah.
reactivating it.
Yeah.
Add water.
Oh,
It's, when it's down at this end,
Yeah.
I can feel the
Because-
weight and it
Oh,
kind of
there,
feels
that's
like the
better.
tip a little.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
I told
better.
her
But
just
it
to
lets
make a
me,
lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that helps.
take a little more
Yeah,
time
yeah,
and
that's
my
good,
hand
that's
doesn't
good.
go all over the place.
Yeah.
Are these the ones?
Yeah, since anytime you add the water to the watercolor, it wakes
Oh,
up
I
and
know.
you can work with it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
amazing.
one of the well, it's the characteristic of watercolor. It can be a pro or a con depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't work in layers because it'll reactivate the layers underneath.
Yes.
But then at the same time, if you want to redo something, you can kind of erase that way as well. So you just got to learn how to.
It's a
how it works.
juggling game.
Yeah. Usually with watercolors, we'll paint the lightest layer first and then the darker layers on top so that they don't muddle with each other.
Yeah.
But what we're painting today, we don't really have much in terms of layers. That really comes into play when we do landscape painting more so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because we tend to paint from like the distance and then work towards
Oh, yeah.
what's closer. But it also depends on what colors you're using. Usually we'll put the lightest colors on first and then the darker ones on top.
That makes sense,
Yeah. Has everyone had a chance to practice the petals a bit? Okay, great. Then from here we can start to move on to the larger sheet. And if you have space on here, you can continue to use it as your experiment practice sheet.
okay.
If you want to test out a color, for example, you can test it a little bit out on here to see how it looks on paper before you put it on this bigger one.
You should use the small ones.
You can also paint the...
A round circle, so get in a circle.
And with different colors.
If you accidentally use the larger sheet first, you can switch. You can paint on the smaller one instead, because I have the small piece on here too. Then I would recommend you stick to the small brush. You could use the back. Yeah, if the front is dry, I don't see why not. You can use the back as well, especially if it's dry. So up to you if you want to just flip over the one you were working on. But I like to still have one sheet for my test sheet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna move on to this bigger one. So this bigger one might be a little bit more intimidating, but it's all about practice. So let yourself mess it up. I always say that everyone goes through an ugly phase first before they can make a beautiful painting. And that ugly phase can be like 100 ugly paintings. So just let yourself learn and play around with this first if it doesn't turn out perfect. Now for this one, I have the bigger paper. I'm switching to the larger brush because I'm needing to cover a larger area. It's just more efficient than the small one. So for this size, I'm switching over to this larger brush. And we're going to do almost the exact same thing we just did, but be mindful of the placement to make a nice composition like this one. And we'll start with just the circles, so we'll paint all three, and then add the petals to each one, finishing off with the stems and the leaves. Do you have any questions before I
So start
start
with
here?
circles.
Yes?
You want us to paint this one or any
Whichever
one?
you want.
You can use any of these for inspiration, so you could choose this one, or even kind of combine them as you like, or you can just copy me. I'm just copying this one. But if you'd like to use a different color, for example, like if you prefer this orange on this sunflower versus the browns and blacks on mine, you could use orange. So the colors and everything's your choice. But I'm here for guidance if you like it.
So do the circle.
That was a good question.
Um,
So I'm going to repeat what we did on the very first exercise with the circles. But I'm going to make sure I've spaced them out enough so
Yeah.
that there's room for the petals and then room for the stem. So I would put it around here for the first circle, here for the second, and then here for the third. I'll say that one common mistake with beginners is that they tend to paint very small. So if you notice yours is really small, you can make it larger. So let's see. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to try... I liked this one for my practice, so I'm going to go back to using this one. And we'll make that puddle, that pool of brown like we did before, or orange, whichever one you choose. And I'm going to make a point to fill up this well, because we're going to need a lot of it,
Oh, okay.
since we're painting larger now. I'm filling mine to almost the brim.
yep, I'm good.
It kind of helps to have these wells because then you can see how much paint you've got. Okay. This is bubbly.
Well, I guess that's why it
This really looks like hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, mine doesn't. Milk chocolate.
Yeah. If yours looks more watery in comparison, you can pick up more of the pigment and then use less water. Once you have your brown, if you like to, you can test it on your other sheet. Oh, this is looking really bright. Hold on. That might be better. This is what the test sheet is for. I just want to see what it looks like. And then I'm going to ask myself, is this dark enough for my taste? And I'm going to say no. I prefer it darker. You can make yours as dark or light as you like. Okay, I like this for mine. So now that I've tested out a color I like, now I'm gonna paint the circles that I want. Okay. Let me zoom out here. Kind of eyeballing where to put this circle. If you're not sure, more towards the center is safer to make sure that you have enough space. And I'm making this pretty big. Compared to my brush, if I use this as a measuring stick, it's like that big. Oops. I made mine very watery. Okay. And then, oops. So I keep saying oops because I accidentally dropped some paint on here. That happened because my brush was loaded with too much water. If you have so much water on here where it's dripping like this, you want to wipe off the excess by rubbing it against one of these wells, or the well that you got it from. That's one way to make sure you don't have too much water or paint in your brush. Just rub it against the edge here.
Yeah, I know. I like to do that if I can. Okay.
For my painting, I would say this paint is the consistency of melted ice cream, so it's very thick.
Melted ice cream.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it seems creamy when you look at the way it flows and how thick it is. And the reason why I've got it at that consistency is so that I have a really, really rich color.
What's the purpose of the well?
Of which part?
The well.
These, I think they're just for mixing colors, so you can, and also keep your colors separate so that they don't mix into each other. In some other painting palettes, the wells are just big areas of empty space, like
You're doing your.
So you could blend it afterwards with other colors.
yeah, like on this palette, if you don't have too much water, you can kind of just do them separately.
Nice.
On this particular palette, they have these separate little wells,
Mhm.
which I think works well too.
Did you do a leaf from on your one?
Oh, are you moving on to the leaves? Okay, let me, I'll finish this step and then I can show you some leaves. Hold on. I want to make sure I get the black in there before it dries.
Yeah.
So this is still shiny white, or shiny surface. So that means it's still wet. I gotta get this black in there before it's too late. I want this to be, oops, wait. I want to make sure I keep this on screen in case you want it for reference. So black here. I'll try adding some seeds. Black dots.
Mine through sunflowers don't look like earth through sunflowers.
They're all different. That's okay.
Yeah, everyone's painting is going to look different.
Especially mine.
It's very hard to copy something exactly.
Yours is way over there.
Hers. Yes. Who's are you looking at?
Oh, well, I've got mine right here next to me. Where is yours?
Oh, right here.
Oh, you're sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got these circles here.
Circles are perfect circles.
These are mine.
Come around and check on everybody for a moment.
I know.
Okay, so you're talking about leaves?
Well, I was gonna do the petals.
Oh, you mean petals,
I
okay.
meant petals.
Gotcha.
I'm not into that.
Okay, the petals. The petals, I can show now. I think most people are ready. Probably your paint is still going to be wet when you do this part, which for the way I'm doing it, I don't mind. If you don't want it to blend at all, you'll either need to wait for it to dry or just make sure you don't paint into the black or center area. So for this next step with the petals, first I'm going to clean my brush.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm wiping off this paint here and then rinsing it in the cup. And I'm going to keep wiping it on my paper towel until it looks mostly clear. I don't think I can get it 100% out right now.
We need more paper towels.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Angel.
I think mine will work.
Oh, I was teasing Angel. Thank you, hon.
Okay, picking up the color I'd like to use for my flower here. Where did they? Let's see. I'm just looking at my old practice sheet to see which one I like. I think I like this one, or this one. Okay. We're gonna make another well of color for the petals like we did with the circle.
Oh, thank you.
Yellow. Okay, I've got a well of my petal yellow here. Now to do the petals on the sunflower, I have another trick for this that might make it easy. It's you can rotate your paper as you go around when you do this. So we'll do something like this. That way you don't have to twist your wrist in weird positions. But you do need to make sure you don't touch the wet parts when you rotate the paper. So I'll start with this, and I'm also using my brush as a measuring stick so I can see how much this is sticking out, just how this lines up with this metal bit. I think this is called the ferrule. So if I start painting my petal when it's about lined up there, then I can make sure that they're about the same length on each one.
Okay.
That kind of helps.
Yeah.
You can use it as a loose measuring stick. And because mine is still wet, it's that black and brown that I put on here is blending a little bit. I kind of like that effect, so I'm going to let it do that. And right now I'm rotating the paper as I paint these petals in.
Are you still using your big brush?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
I'm still using the big one. And I think when I paint this a little bit more loosely and a little bit more organically, where it's not evenly spaced out, it does look more natural. And each petal can be slightly varied in size and shape versus all the exact same size and shape. It makes it look more real. And you can always look at this printout for some ideas too. Because some of these have really narrow petals, some of them have much wider ones. You can choose which one you'd like to try referencing. And for each sunflower, you don't have to stick to the same shade. You can try introducing like a little bit more orange or a little bit more yellow as you go around. Gives it some variation and makes it look a bit more dynamic if you try different colors. There. Is that better?
Wow, look at you.
Kind of turned out nice.
What a surprise.
No, I They went out in the sun too long, they got a sunburn.
And we'll do the same thing around for each sunflower that we've painted. Oops. I'll try a different yellow for my second one. After this bit, we'll paint the stems and the leaves, and then we'll be done for the day. I'll try a thinner one. Also, just FYI, getting the size and the placement of things can be really challenging sometimes. So if yours is a bit off from where you'd like it to, that's okay. Just see if what you would need to adjust for next time. You might have it be too big or too far to one side or lopsided.
Oh yeah, that's real pretty.
Because it was in soft blades. Or yellow.
Hmm. I'll try a different yellow.
Good background. Well, they look like something.
They do.
I made mine into a teddy bear when I got bromine in my garden.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna stick to one.
Let's see how everyone's doing. Any questions? Everyone doing all right?
I thought it kind of went into the center.
Yeah, a little bit. So it blended a bit. If we wanted to fix it, you could put water on top and dab it off as well. Or if you'd like the effect, you could leave it too.
I got a mess.
It's like green in there.
Yeah, I think with the yellow on top of the black, it turned into like a greenish color.
Yeah, I'm surprised how the green shows up.
Huh. Yeah.
Like, where's the blue? Like,
I don't know.
like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It might be the black might be a bit of a tinge, like it has a blue tinge to it maybe.
Must be, because make it green. Like, I know there's green there.
Yeah.
You know, there's some green in the middle.
That's what tends to happen with yellow on top of black for some reason. That might be just a pigment.
Yeah, the best thing is to use water and water.
Yeah. If you wanted to cover it up, you could just put the black on top.
Yeah, I was thinking that way. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
For sure. I can't believe it. The green comes out.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know. I always think of blue and yellow make green.
It does, yeah. It's because the yellow's a little bit transparent, but not totally. It's translucent, so it's showing through the black underneath.
Yeah, but green?
Yeah. So if you were to mix the yellow paint with the black, it would turn into a dark green for this particular black.
Oh.
Yeah. I think with a different shade of black, it might even turn into more of a, let's see, yellow plus, could be bluer, I guess. It usually turns greenish, maybe brownish.
No, I'm just shocked.
Yeah, pink can be weird.
I don't know how to do that one.
Which one?
The,
Oh, the petals?
yeah.
It looks like you got it for these ones. This one just went slanted a little bit. It just needs to have come out from the center.
Like,
Oh, something like that. What you did here looks like
Good.
you just press it down. So I would do the same thing, but make sure you pull it towards the center right here. So from this end right here. And if it's easier, you can just work with the root and then paint it into the
so.
Yeah.
Let me try this.
Yeah, you did a good job with like these ones here, because they're going towards the center. That one just went crooked a little bit.
Let me change it back. This one. What about mine?
Mm-hmm. You have very even petals here.
Yeah, but this one is got.
Yeah,
double.
Yeah, one on top of the black. If you want to fix it, you can wait for the yellow to dry.
Let's see, I've heard
Black
copy,
back
yeah,
on
you do it
top.
like this.
Okay.
Boom!
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Ooh.
I think this one's turning out okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Whoops.
Oh,
It's crying. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And
Okay, use a
it's
paper towel to dab
got
it.
freckles on it too.
Yeah, but that's okay.
And it's okay to press on it to remove it all.
Yeah, because it's
There.
it'll soak it up
Yay.
easier.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, mine is in it. It's there.
That's okay. We all have to do them different and they
These
all
are all
look
looking
nice.
very
Yeah, I think the middle centerpiece has got a little trouble.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
just, I don't know what I'm trying to do. I can fix it up.
It's looking real good too.
For the last couple minutes, I'm going to finish off with the stem and the leaves. If you're not there yet, that's okay. You can still watch so you know what to do later.
I'm just making a mess of it. It's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse.
For this one, I think it's easier to use the smaller of the two brushes because we want to line. So I'm going to switch back to the smaller blue brush and choose my color. I like to use more of an army or olive green, which is this one. It's closer to the black color. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up. Uh-huh.
Since we've got really dirty water there,
Change it out.
how does
Yeah.
that look? You know?
One thing, that's a good question. So one thing you can do is either change the water, or another thing we can do in the future is have 2 cups of water. One is really for cleaning the brush, and then the second one can be for picking up clean water to paint with. Yeah. But for today, what we can do is change our water for you.
Yeah, there's one.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. If anyone else has got super dirty water and wants to change it, we can give you fresh water.
No, I don't mind.
So next time we'll do the 2 cups.
Thank you. And then, oh, we haven't started the.
So if you like the army green,
Oh, you were reading this flower. Hi, look at my picture. I didn't get that on purpose.
You must have
I know when I saw you, I was going to
Barbara.
point out your shirt.
Oh, no.
You did it on purpose?
I did
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Herb told me you were going to do sunflowers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at it.
Perfect.
When we need a model, we'll just call on you and your shirt.
Oh, look at you guys are so talented. Oh my
All right.
God.
So army green here.
That makes me feel like I might be able to do this.
I'm making another puddle like I did before. So first step for the rest of the green parts is the stem, like the main stalk, and then add the leaves. And the stalk is basically a thick line.
So I'm only doing one.
Okay.
Look what Val is doing on her.
No, that's okay.
Look down on this children.
Yeah, I thought it was a tube.
And it's one of those eyeballs for the.
So this part's pretty straightforward. I'll just go ahead and paint a line behind each sunflower, going downwards and kind of towards the center so they look like they're coming from one place. So for example, on this one, I'm gonna paint it slightly downward and slightly to the right. And I'm just imagining there's a line going through here.
Okay.
And then going like this. Oops. And then I'll do the same thing for this guy here. And have it go slightly to the left so it's more towards the center. It makes it look like it's one plant. And then I'll do one more for this one. Whee. Okay.
Orhan's back! Yay!
We have a guy for you here.
Yeah, this is an activity I imagine is popular.
Hello.
But our calendar is here.
Is it alright if we take an extra 5 minutes to finish this? Does anyone need to leave right away? Because it's 3:29 right now.
This is it.
Okay.
Do that, please.
Alright, let's do it. So for the leaves, I'm going to put them where I'd have a little bit of space. So on this one, for example, I'm going to make a little line here and then make something that's kind of like a heart shape coming out from it. The heart, this top center part of the heart is like right where the stem is right here. And if I zoom in, you can see that a little bit better. I'm going to do this and then that. Actually, if we look at how they're shaped on here, there's more of like a little bump right there. Yeah, they're like big hearts.
Oh, okay.
You can see them on here, but they're at an angle, which can be a little bit tricky to paint. And for this one, I can just add it very close to the stem, because the stem attached to the stalk is hidden. Here's the heart shape. For this tip, I'm making sure I'm using the very tip of my brush to make it pointed like that. Yeah, the green is, it's this color right here that's kind of diagonal from the black. Just right here. It's a warmer green than the other ones. And I think it looks nice with the yellow, all the yellow of the sunflower. Okay, I'll paint another sideways heart right here. The way I'm doing these is I'm starting with the end here and then going this way. It depends on the direction of your leaf. But because this is already pointed on this end, it's easier to start right here.
Why do I keep opening my mouth? What did you see?
And I think I'll add one more because I have the space for it right here. I'm gonna have to paint this one behind one of the sunflowers. Whoops.
My leaves don't look like this.
If you like to make yours look very full, it is okay to have these overlap in some places. So I think I want to, for mine at least, I want to add another one right here. It's in the back, kind of overlapping right now. Remember, you can keep using your test sheet to test out colors. Oh wait, this one. And feel free to customize your painting the way you like. If you want to add a bit more detail, one thing you could do is add some lines on here with a darker green. I'm going to have lines going down the center.
Sure. Why not?
Hey, I can say Bill on me.
Well, somebody would know that they're flowers. Oh, they're okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is pretty. No, it's not. But it's okay.
That's okay. They're different. I like different.
One very last thing I'm going to do for mine, which you can do if you like to, if you haven't already, is I'd like to add a couple of lines on top of the petals, or on the sides of some of the petals here to kind of outline them. You can see I didn't do it on all of them. I have just some, it doesn't look like orange on the screen, but these are thin orange lines, and I'm going to use my smaller brush so that it's not too thick.
Oh, I see.
You can outline it with a light orange color. For this, I'm going to test it out on here to make sure I don't make it too dark. So if I did this, if I use a light color that's kind of more watery than thick, it can just be an additional layer on top here. So when I add it on here, it'll be like a light outline. But for everybody, I would recommend testing out that color on here to make sure it's not too dark or too light. It's better to have it be too light than too dark, because you can always make it darker, but you can't really go lighter with watercolor since it has to go in these transparent layers. So aim for lighter than darker for your first round. And then that should be it. Let's add a couple of lines here and there.
We're artists.
I know.
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't even know it.
painting.
Okay. Oh, no. I went to the wrong color.
Where's this reference image?
Just trying to do a little, yeah, because it just adds, depth and texture. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, adding these extra lines can really add some
That didn't help mine.
emphasis.
So I'll just.
Erase.
And these can be painted loosely too. They don't need to be perfectly placed. Mine are even a little bit random, because these lines could be the center of petals or the sides of petals.
Yeah.
It can be painted loosely and still look very nice. Let's see. Maybe I'll add some more effects here.
Too bad if you look at it way far away.
I noticed some people did have the yellow on top of the black here, and it
Yeah,
wasn't
I do.
what they were looking for. So if you want to fix that, like I have a little bit of that here too, the yellow on top of the black. Now that this is dry, I'm just going to paint the black back on top to
Yeah.
cover it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it should help a little bit. Okay, I went overtime by a couple minutes. Any questions, everyone, before we wrap up?
We were told it was 2:30 to 4:30.
No, well,
Oh, for you though. Oh, I see.
watch it, Karen.
Oops.
Another $20 for you.
I wouldn't mind a 2-hour session, although that we would need